Hello and welcome to the Deep Three Podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Sam, Kevin, and John. How's it going, guys?
Chilling.
I'm the greatest player of all time, so I mean, I assume.
Greatest player of all time, Sam, Spicy Sam. We got this. We have a very, very good segment for you guys today. We have buy or sell, one of the most fun ones that we always produce for you guys. So why don't we start it out from the very top? Are the Pelicans for sure in the playoffs? Buy or sell, Kevin?
Selling. No. I highly doubt they're gonna make it to the playoffs. Definitely not for sure in the playoffs. Hard selling on this as fast as I can. The West is too good for the Pelicans to get into the playoffs this year. Unless I see something else to change my mind, they're pretty bad, I think, and they're not. I haven't seen improvement on. We'll see.
Kevin's new most hated team, the Pelicans.
No, that's Clippers. That's Clippers still.
All right, Sam, what you got?
Yeah, it's a hard sell. It's the team is not made well. I've been telling this day one. The team is not made well. I'm saying when you have the next generational player, he should be the focal point. You cannot have Brandon Ingram on this team anymore. Trade him while he's hot and get some supporting pieces. You need shooters on this team. I don't want Eric Bledsoe being my best point guard on this roster. We saw that with the Milwaukee Bucks. It was not good. It's not worked that well. He has quote unquote defensive presence. That's not true. This team is Lonzo Ball came back and is probably one of the worst point guards to play, and so coming back from an injury, and it's not good. Steven Adams' trade I understood what they were trying to do. They're trying to compensate for less strain on Zion and I guess the defensive presence, but I got to bash on Zion a little bit because it's been kind of disappointing. I know he's got some of the stats, but for the hype that we've been giving him, he's not really living up to it. He's been very lazy on defense, which is very unlike him. We saw how this guy always run to the three and pack hose day after day after day. And now he's just kind of casual, just walks up to it and then they make the shot easily. And that's why they lose these games because no one's taking accountability at this point. And when your veteran is Steven Adams, who's just strong, there's no one there that coach. And I don't want JJ Redick doing anything at this point because that man is not look good.
Yeah, that's rough. And as soon as you said that's a lie, I immediately thought of the Maury show. And I was just thinking of him coming out with the polygraph test to be and we have read that is a lie. So Eric Bledsoe, you are bad at defense. I'm sorry. John, what do you got?
Yeah, this bums me out. I have to, of course, sell. The Pelicans suck right now. They're really bad. They're actually a bad team right now. I think they're in the middle of a big losing streak too. I don't know that I agree that Brandon Ingram needs to go, but I do agree that a lot of work needs to be done on this roster because it's messy. And Zion has been really disappointing. Offensively, he does kind of everything we thought he would do, and he has some really dominant games offensively, but he is a nothing on defense. He does not do anything. And it sucks because one of my favorite Zion highlights ever was when he was at Duke, and he, like you said, Sam, he jumped out to the three-point line from fucking 15 feet away or some shit and blocked the ball. It was incredible. And I was oh my God, this guy is going to break the NBA. And then he comes in and offensively, he does bully people. He does all the Zion shit that we expect him to do. He's refusing to shoot, which is annoying. But he does nothing on defense. And that's why Steven Adams has to be there, because they need someone to actually protect the rim because Zion won't do anything. So the Pelicans, I'm selling on them. They're very disappointing. I thought that if anyone could get this guy to play defense, it'd be Stan Van Gundy. Is Stan's the Van Gundy in New Orleans? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff's playing it. I thought it would be Stan for sure. And it's just not. And I hope that someone can get through to him at some point. I really wonder what the deal is. It's sad.
Yeah. And if I could just add real quick, They played the Timberwolves and lost by 10 without D'Angelo or Karl Anthony Towns. Embarrassing. And the worst thing is Eric Bledsoe shooting 11 for 23. Why is Eric Bledsoe taking 23 shots for this team? That is not the thing. Zion needs to be taking the shots at that point. And even if it's inside the paint, that's the presence you need. Like a lot of these guys don't know what they're doing on this roster. I don't think they should be on this roster at all. Like it should be a big cleanup because it is not good. You should not be losing to a no superstar Timberwolves team. Your boy Ricky Rubio, Kevin, did step up and guide this team to victory. So
I feel like Zion gets spent. Too many of Zion's buckets come from like just him getting offensive rebounds and like him doing all those things. Like they need to genuinely like run more offense through this guy because he is like there's no one in the like we saw that highlight of him just literally running over Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes is not a small man. Like and Zion literally runs through the guy, knocks him off his fucking feet. So there's a lot that needs to change in New Orleans. For them to get the most out of Zion too, especially. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I'm going to be selling on that one as well. Next one, Kyrie needs to be traded out of Brooklyn. We were just talking about this on our last podcast, panicking with the Nets. Kevin, are we trading Kyrie?
I'm buying on this just because I think Harden, Durant, and Harris also are enough offense on your team. You don't need Kyrie, and right now he's scoring a lot of points. He's got a lot of value. So trade him for a center, and get some big man, and give someone Kyrie who is a all-star, maybe not a superstar like Katie and Harden, but still an all-star, and get someone out of that to kind of flesh out your team a little bit instead of having 4 of your starters being perimeter shooters and that's it. Like this team needs to change, and I think trading Kyrie is a good move to do that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one, Kevin. Sam, what do you got?
Yeah, I'd also buy, but hear me out. We're going to straight up 1-for-1 Kyrie Irving for Paul George. I think this is the thing. When you make Paul George a third string player, I think he can actually be his true potential. I think that he does have the defensive presence. I'll give him that. I think Paul George does have the defensive presence that you need for like an on-ball defender. And sure, we're playing the Steve Nash offense, right? This is the 2007 Suns. Just run and gun, score more points than the other team. But I think if you can start playing some 2-minute drills in the fourth quarter, having Paul George guard the best player on the team, I think they can do some serious damage with that. And then we all know Kyrie Irving does not play defense, okay? He's a pure scorer, but he needs to get out of there. Kyrie out.
John?
Yeah. I don't know if Kyrie would even like allow himself to be traded. That's the thing. Like, I'm like, does Kyrie like, and we've talked about this plenty, but like, if they try to trade Kyrie, does he just like say, I will retire if you trade me to this team? Like, I don't know how it goes down. They need to maybe, this is like the clearest way, obviously, for them to massively upgrade their roster is to trade Kyrie. He has the most value. I wonder if you could get like a cool Kyrie plus Joe Harris for Paul George plus Serge Ibaka. Would be a fun package if you could just do that, flip them that way. Because then you would solve your wing defense and your center while still getting great floor spacing. It's just like there's no clean way to get Kyrie out of there. If they can do it, I guess I buy, but I don't know if I actually like, I'm only selling because I kind of don't think it's even possible. I don't like, it seems like it just like couldn't actually happen. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm selling. Maybe he needs to be, but I don't know if they can.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question actually, was like, is this even possible? Like, can Kyrie actually, because like, we've seen what happens as soon as the trade talks started in the Nets, and whether or not like Kyrie did it on purpose, he was MIA. He was MIA for a solid amount of time. So like if he becomes the conversation in those trade talks, I that worries me. That worries me, mainly for the team that ends up trading for a Kyrie, because I have no idea what's going to happen after that.
I mean, I'm kind of fixated on this Clippers idea just because like they need a point guard so bad. And like, but I just can't think of anyone who would gel worse with Kawhi than Kyrie. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts here. I wish it was easier for Brooklyn. I kind of don't know how they're going to fix it. I'm curious.
Yeah. Sam, you get the gold star for bringing up that trade. Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Next one we have: is Luka magic enough for a playoff bid for the Mavs? John, I think I know your answer for this one, but why don't I start with you?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we literally saw it last year. So yes, of course it's enough to make the playoffs. It's fucking Luka Doncic, motherfuckers. He's goddamn incredible. He's a top fucking 7 player in the league. I know we broke through this. We try to in very detail break this down, but he's a top 7 player in the league. He's a nightly triple-double threat, and he does it fairly efficiently, minus the three-point shooting, obviously. He's still one of the best players around the rim in the league. He's one of the best playmakers in the league. And his defense has gotten better. This Mavs defense is actually, like, not terrible. They're actually pretty good. So, yes, I think it's enough for them to make the playoffs. I obviously am disappointed in this team so far because I was very high on them to start the season. But they're going to be in the playoffs. I would actually bet like almost anything. I think that as long as Luka is healthy, they're just gonna be in the playoffs. Like that's just how it works with guys like that. Yeah, absolutely buying.
Yeah, Luka will make it happen if anything. Kevin, where are you at?
I don't know.
I swear to God, Kevin. You tread lightly, Kevin.
I got to say it again because I honestly believe this. I think that now don't take this out of context when I say it because I know y'all are. I think Luka has Russell Westbrook syndrome in the sense he's not Russell Westbrook, John, in the sense that he can score 30-point triple doubles all he wants, but that doesn't make his team win every week. Like he is an outstanding player, top 10 player easily, probably top 7 to your point, but I don't know if it's enough for him to carry his team far enough in the Western Conference. Like there's just too many other good teams in the Western Conference for them to make a solid playoff run. I need to see more from their supporting cast than I've seen so far. Like Tim Hardaway Jr., their third best player, is abysmal this year. And the rest of their bench is embarrassingly bad. I don't know. I think you need more than Luka to carry this team to the playoffs. I am very, very lightly selling. I think they could sneak in a play-in game or an 8th seed, but I think they would be an 8th seed at highest right now, unless something changes.
Okay, so here's just really quickly, just to get in your face, Kevin. Here are the teams that are currently around Dallas Mavericks. Now, they're the 8th seed right now. It's still pretty early in the season. They're 8-8. So above them currently are the Phoenix Suns at 8-7 and the Memphis Grizzlies at 7-6.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that Dallas cannot beat those two teams?
That's not the question. The question.
I know, but I'm
okay.
talking a purely playoff position because we're looking at Golden State, we're looking at San Antonio. They're both neck and neck with the Dallas Mavericks right now. But when you're looking at record-wise and just team-wise, the Phoenix Suns and the Memphis Grizzlies are the ones that are above the Mavericks. Now, you're saying that they're going to have problems. I look at this and I'm like, yeah, Dallas Mavericks definitely hit 6th seed because of where I'm looking at right now.
I don't think so. I think the Suns have enough weapons, granted inconsistent weapons, but weapons nonetheless, that makes them a little stronger. And same with this. The Grizzlies, if they can actually play games, which is a whole nother subject. Then I think they would actually get through because I think they have a pretty decent team, but it depends on if any of them cannot have COVID for more than a day. But I don't know. I think the Spurs would whoop this Mavericks team out of the water any day of the week.
Ooh, I love this, boy.
They would whoop them?
Hold up.
Are you kidding me?
Off the floor with this team.
Hold up. It is now my turn, gentlemen.
Hey, wait, Sam. I want buy or sell on Kevin's outrageous take.
Kevin.
You gotta hype me up on this. Come on.
I have to buy. It's very light. Okay, hear me out. I have to buy on this because it's the Dallas Doncic's. It's not the Dallas Mavericks. There is no real support. Kevin or Kristaps Porzingis can't even stay healthy to stay on the floor, which is horrendous. I mean, basically they got him for nothing at this point, and I don't like Porzingis on this team. I think they actually need a real support. Obviously, the dream is have a real big like a Jokic, right? Obviously, that would be perfect. We can't do that. But I actually like Tim Hardaway Jr. in a lot of these cases. He has zero defensive presence. This team is actually not that great defensively. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's ridiculous talk. There's zero defensive presence. The leading defender on this team is James Johnson. What are we talking about? It's James Johnson. The man is homeless at this point. The man is homeless. My San Antonio Spurs can play better defense than this team. I can tell you that. Can they beat them? Maybe it's a different story. I can vouch for that. But if the Memphis Grizzlies get Jaren Jackson, they are a better team than the Dallas Mavericks. I can say that. But if they don't have it, I think it's on par. I think they're on par.
John, I'm going to let you rebuttal this.
Y'all are fucking crazy, man. I really can't believe what I'm hearing, frankly. Look, they're not like lockdown defensively, but they are actually they're in the top half of the league defensively by like every metric. Like they are a solid defense, and like I understand the concern that like they run their whole team through Luca, but it's just like that's because Luca's the kind of player who like is an offensive system in and of himself. Like he's one of the best like at moving the ball. He's one of the craftiest scorers in the league. If there's anyone who can get the most out of their teammates, it's a guy like that. I think it's obvious to me that this is a playoff team just by merit of like having a guy like that on their team. I think y'all are hating, and that Spurs take, Kevin, that was disrespectful.
No,
that
Kevin,
was disrespectful, Kevin. The Spurs.
I'm just saying the Spurs lost to the Mavericks by 5 points without DeJounte Murray, who's arguably one of their best players this year. So I think if they had, would have easily won. Easily.
Kevin, to that point though, the Bulls also lost to the Lakers and the Clippers by 2 points. So I don't know if I would be using that as a argument point. We're gonna move on before John has an aneurysm. We are all fans.
Too late.
John is dead. Colorado's a great state. The team, however, the Nuggets, they're not looking so hot. There's some concern in Cush County. The Nuggets are no longer a serious threat in the West. Kevin, where are you at by yourself?
Kevin, I can't wait to hear what you think about this team.
I think they're very similar to the Mavs in that they have 2 star players and the rest of their team is abysmal. Granted, I think those 2 star players combined are more than just having Luca and KP, in my opinion, because you have Jokic, who's an unbelievable center, and Jamal Murray is at least more consistent of a second man than KP.
Jamal Murray consistent?
Are you insane?
Well, he's more consistent than KP. That's not saying much. The bar is really low. The bar is really low.
Kevin, I'll let you finish.
But that being said, I'm still kind of buying that they aren't a threat that much because, again, this Western Conference is really tough, and I think they'll drop in the standings a little bit, but I think they can still make the playoffs. But I think they're going to be competing with the Mavericks for that 8th ninth, seventh kind of spot in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be like a 3 seed like they were last year or whatever, or 4 seed. I don't know. I think they need more depth on their team. And right now, outside of their starting lineup, it's kind of sad. So I'm lightly buying on this.
So I want to just get this clear before I answer this. When we're talking about serious threat, are we talking about a playoff team, like they get past the first round threat, or are we talking about like Western Conference Finals threat?
It should be like last year, in my opinion. I'm just saying that should be the standard now moving forward for them.
Okay, so I'm gonna buy on that standard. We've seen Jamal Murray in the playoffs as a just unbelievable force. However, in the regular season, Jamal Murray is the most inconsistent player I have ever seen. When he is hot, he's hot, but when he is not, it's rough. It's rough, and he fucks up a lot and messes up these games, man. Anyway, I do think that they are no longer a threat in that capacity as far as last year goes, so I will buy on that one. Sam?
As someone that lives in Kush County now, I'm the one who put this question up because I thought I was going to buy on this. I think I'm going to sell. I watched the game yesterday against the Phoenix Suns, and as much as we hate conspiracy theorists, MPJ, I think this guy can still ball out and still be scary from an all-around player presence. The guy can slash, and he can get past all the defenders. I mean, I'm not saying the Phoenix Suns are they're not that great of a defensive team. I mean, Mikal Bridges is probably like the next person that I would praise on that Suns team as a defensive presence, but MPJ is a very solid fit. I think everyone is now I think this is the first time I actually saw the team playing together. I do agree that Jamal Murray is very inconsistent since the past 3 seasons. I don't know what it could be, but maybe he has this LeBron factor where he can only just play in really, really important situations when you can only drop 40 points a night when you're down 3-1. I think that's the criteria. When you're down 3-1, that's when Jamal Murray plays at that point. But I really just can't doubt Jokic. I think Jokic's ability to do anything on this team is blows my mind, especially as a big. You don't see that often. It's becoming very notable and very generational talent that as a big man. So I'm giving them some time still. I give them some time.
Yeah, Jokic is God tier. John?
I don't know. I think Jokic has Russell Westbrook syndrome. I think let's put up triple doubles and then losing games. No, I don't mean that. Look,
Kevin is obligated to give Jokic love since he's on his fantasy team.
I just have to say, I don't think that they're a serious threat in the West. I think that there's definitely because I don't think that they're even I don't think they would even be competitive against the Lakers in a series. I think it would be I don't think they have a chance. As good as Jokic is, the team last year, I think was definitely better than this year's team. I don't think that, and the Lakers got way better even. So no, I sell. I don't think they're buy. I don't think that they're a serious threat in the West. They're a playoff team. And I actually kind of do agree that I think ultimately they'll be in that muddled mass of teams that I think the Mavericks are going to be in. And that's just basically that's just how it's got to be with a team like that, because it's not like the Nuggets are playing any defense. The Nuggets can't guard anybody. Jamal Murray, he's shooting 44% from the field and 33% from 3 on the year. Okay, this man is a disaster in the regular season. He is one of the most unreliable star level players in the entire league. And even you've heard a bunch of players say that the bubble was the ideal situation for guys like him who are just pure shooters, because they just had the same backdrop that they were looking at every night. So their depth of field was always the same, and they were able to get in a rhythm with that same image of shooting every night. Now that he's back in normal NBA arenas, he's back to being Jamal Murray that has nights where he'll score 35 and nights where he'll score 7. I'm these Nuggets, I don't take them much more serious as a threat than I do the Mavericks. I think that they're in very similar situations. as far as being like very dependent on generational superstars and like their other guys just needing to step up. So fuck you,
Absolutely.
Kevin. Fuck you.
Damn, there's the fire. All right, the Utah Jazz are the best team in the West. Rudy Gobert worth the money, Kevin?
This is a joke of a take. Like, this is an absolute joke. The Jazz is not even close to being the third best team in the league. In the West. I don't think. I think their schedule has been pathetically weak so far. They've played like the Pelicans twice, the Cavs, the Pistons. Like their schedule is weak. They've played the Knicks. They lost to the Knicks early on in the season. Like this isn't that good of a team. Rudy Gobert is putting up basic double-double numbers every night, like 10 and 10, maybe 11 and 11, and he should not be getting paid what he is. It's pathetic. I think this team is deep. This team is good. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be a playoff team, but to say they're the best team in the West is absolutely trash. Absolutely trash.
So I think it's funny that you say that they're not even the third best team in the West. I understand, like, just looking at the wins and losses, they are literally the third best team in the West by a pretty wide margin. Actually, they're 12-4, and the Portland Trailblazers, that's right under them, are 8-6. That's a pretty wide margin. But
like I said, they had a weak schedule. Just saying.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, according to Sam, the Knicks are the third best team in the East. So I don't know if that's weak.
Hey, they're going to be the best team in New York. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man, let's go. Look, I'm going to agree with Kevin, but not as extreme as he is. I don't think that they're the best team in the West. I do think that they are a competitive team, a very competitive team. I do like that team. And as far as Rudy Gobert worth the money, I think for the Jazz, he is, because of what that name brings to the team. I think if he was like on the Clippers, or if he was on the Lakers, or like if he was on a bigger team, I don't think he's worth the money at all. But like when you're looking at the Jazz as an organization in general, they kind of needed to have him on the team, or else they're just going to lose views. They're going to lose money because of it. So if you're looking at it from like a strictly like budget perspective and money perspective, like they kind of needed to make that. But on the other hand, they could have used that money for better reasons, maybe. But as far as this, I'm selling on this. I really don't think that the Jazz are the best team in the West. Sam?
To Kevin, as Donovan Mitchell might put it, I'm going to buy, and it's very shocking because I've never said anything good about the Jazz ever. I like jazz music. That's probably the best thing about jazz. But it's not even about Donovan Mitchell or even Rudy Gobert. I mean, it's a little bit about Rudy Gobert. It's not even about Donovan Mitchell at this point. The biggest thing for me is the return of Bogdanovic, which was their highest scorer last season. And Mike Conley. I think Mike Conley actually had a revitalization. Like it's been like crazy. It's like the old Mike Conley. I know he's not like a crazy talent that they need, but I think he's actually the right veteran piece that this roster needed to support someone like Mitchell. Along with that, Jordan Clarkson has been balling out as like probably could be the best sixth man in the NBA right now. And I just think that like this team has just been running it back. They're like the Portland Trailblazers, except they have an actual big man, I guess. I think that's the only thing that makes them really different at this point. And I'm pretty confident that this team they probably have a very good shot at finishing top in the West. And I think that might just be based on the Lakers coasting, and they don't need to get a high seed, and they can just do whatever they want at that point. And I think the Clippers are just very volatile. I'm not really sure. Like Kawhi can sit out, and then we have another 50-point blowout. So I don't know if I can rely on Paul George like that. But I think somehow the virus brought everyone together in Utah. It brought the Mormons together. It brought this sanctity of organization to come together and unite over a pandemic. So I'm going to buy Rudy Gobert. I think 2 podcasts ago, I like completely told him to go to France. I'm okay with that still. I'll pay for the first class ticket if you need it because, man, that guy needs like 3 rows. And that guy cannot sit in a normal plane. So Definitely not worth the contract, but I think they can be the best in the West.
All right, John, what you got?
Yeah, I don't have a ton more to add other than, like, I don't think they're the best team in the West, but I definitely think that they're one of the best teams in the West, and a lot of it is because of, like, what Sam said, where they just kind of look like the team we thought they would be last year. Everyone's clicking. Donovan Mitchell's having, like, the best three-point shooting season of his career right now. It's kind of like the first time I feel like he's had a big skill upgrade year to year. He seems to always kind of come back as, like, the same Donovan Mitchell that we've known, and this year it feels a little different. Yeah, and I've come around to, like, the Gobert contract. I still don't love it. I feel like it's still definitely too much money, but it feels like they had to do it. I like this Jazz team, and I like Mike Conley a lot now too. I heard, like, a quote somewhere that it was just like, Mike Conley's played most of his career with more of, like, a pick and pop center in Marc Gasol. He's never had to play with a role man like Rudy Gobert, and so that had a lot of growing pains. Now we're seeing them get actual chemistry together, and I like it. I think that they'll probably still be a top 3 seed at the end of the year. They're actually, like, pretty solid.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like I said, like, they are a solid team, and they do. Yeah. I really do like Mike Conley. I really like what I've seen from him so far. So this is going to be the last question. Then we're going to be going into a speed round. So Zach LaVine gets traded out of Chicago, and does a Bull player get traded this season, like, in general? So, like, if Zach LaVine doesn't get traded, does another Bulls player get traded? Kevin?
I don't think you trade Zach LaVine. I think he's the one person that's really finally he's found his spot. He's found his groove. He's hitting everything with all cylinders this year, shooting out of his mind, being consistently good, not inconsistent anymore, which we've seen the past couple of seasons. He's always putting up the most points on the team. I don't think you can trade him. I think you do trade someone else, whether it's Kobe and Markkanen, maybe. Probably you got to put Kobe in there because he's young, he's okay, and you can probably get some value out of him. I don't know. I think they trade someone else, but I think for my own sanity, I hope they don't trade Zach LaVine either, because then whoever they get, I think it's going to just be a worse team.
It's gotten to the point right now where my apology for Zach LaVine could not be more real. Yeah, he's been much more consistent, and I've been watching. Surprisingly, I've been watching a lot of Bulls games this season. Never thought that would happen, but Zach LaVine has actually become a facilitator. He's been passing the ball a lot more. You see him taking actually, like, really smart shots, and he's an extremely explosive player. He's able to get to the basket really, really well and get the foul shot as well. Like, he's been learning and changing his game a lot. You definitely see a very nice improvement from him. He'll still take those really random 3 shots every now and then. But the thing about that, from what I've been noticing recently, they're in clutch moments. They're in when, like, he actually has to be the person to shoot that ball. When he's hot, he's hot. That's all I gotta say. So hopefully, I don't think he does get traded. I think he actually has a decent relationship with Billy Donovan, and I think that's helping that situation a lot. I think Billy Donovan's doing an incredible job with that team. But I do think that, like Kevin said, Lauri Markkanen gets traded. I think of all the players to get traded out of Chicago, it would be him. Sam?
I think Zach LaVine's been good. I know it's, like, hard to say. I think he's been good. It's just been, like, the horrible coaching decisions that, like, tell him, like, you can't do this. I still remember my favorite Zach LaVine moment from last season is when, like, Jim Boylan was, like, talking tracks and, like, no, you can't be doing it this way. Can't be doing it this way. He steals the ball and then makes the game-winning 3, and it was just, like, a real, like, fuck you moment to Jim Boylan and to the whole Bulls organization. And then I think that was, like, the real, like, eye-opening thing that, like, hey, we have a partial face. Let's actually keep him and make him, like, something at this point. So I don't think they should trade him, and I don't think they will trade him. I think if you're going to trade him, I'd wait another year just to see what happens in this draft, or just moving forward in free agency. But I don't even think you trade any Bulls, in my opinion, because I don't think they have much value, to be honest. Like, the only way you can trade Lauri Markkanen is if he's going to agree to the restricted free agency contract at that point. And Kobe White doesn't really have that much value to me, in my opinion. I think he's almost very late for like a protected first round or maybe even a second round pick at this point. It's so inconsistent. But I do have to agree with you guys. I think Billy Donovan has finally awakened and finally accepted a lot of these guys' roles and then just trying to give them a good mix. So I think it's actually going to work out for these guys.
All right, John.
I'm sorry, Zach. I owe you an apology. I've been very cruel to you since you've come to Chicago, very jaded about the Levine experience. And now I can admit Zach's a bucket getter. He gets buckets. He's not terrible defensively anymore. Still not great at it, but he's not a total liability anymore. Zach LaVine's a really good player. He'll be a deserved all-star this year, and I'm finally comfortable saying I would love for him to be a Bull for quite a long time. They just need him to be, like Bull number 2 instead of Bull number 1. I keep Zach. I sell on Zach being traded. I kind of don't think that they're going to trade anyone this year. I think that I kind of agree with Sam. I think if Laurie goes anywhere, it's a sign and trade this summer. Now, I don't know that they would be. I don't think it makes sense for them to try and get better via trade this year. And I honestly don't think it makes sense for them to full on tank via trade. Especially because this team finally has some good vibes around it. It would be sort of just really detrimental to their young guys to tear that up right now. As much as I want them to get a very high draft pick, I think they can still get there without tearing this team apart. So I actually think that no one's going to get moved. And I think that we're going to see pretty much the same Bulls roster from now till the end of the year. And I hope that roster is bad enough to land a top 3 pick. But you never know. The draft lottery odds are so generous now. So they just got to be bad enough. That's what I care about.
Just to be ridiculous and totally random, Kevin, what if I told you that Zach LaVine would get traded to the Lakers?
That'd be fucked up. I actually advocated. I think I advocated for that at the beginning of the year too.
You did.
Who did the Bulls get out of this stuff?
Alex
Caruso and Kuzma.
You probably get Schroeder and I don't know. You probably get Schroeder and Trez, maybe. I don't know. I know.
If that happens, I'm completely cutting my ties with the Bulls and pretending I haven't lived in Chicago most of my whole life, and then fully moving over to the LA hype train.
I think if there's one player that gets traded, it's Otto Porter. He's the only one that makes sense to move, I think.
Yeah, he's up there in age, and he's actually been a really solid player this year.
He's a solid wing.
Yeah.
Sure,
Teams
absolutely.
need guys like that. I'm sure that they might be able to get something for him. I think it would actually be smart if they did try to get something for him, but I don't know if they do.
As we have noticed in our fantasy basketball league, there are not a lot of great small forwards. So now we're going to go into speed round. We only have a few more questions. Kevin, no more parties in South Beach. Do you think the Heat regrets not going for Harden?
Nah, I mean, I think a little bit just because, it's James Harden. Of course, you want him on your team, but I think the Heat still have a good team. I think they still will do well. I don't know if they'll be as good as last year, but I think the more they can keep people healthy, the better. But when that team is at full health and full potential, I think they're still a very strong team. So I don't think they should be too focused on not getting James Harden.
Okay. Sam?
I will buy. I think they do regret it. I think that would have been a big culture improvement in a way, not just about partying and going to the strip clubs in Miami. If I'm like I said, if the guy's going to drop 40 points a night, I'm okay with him going to the strip club. That's why he gets the ball going, then I'm fine with that. But I think that's this Miami Heat team, as good as we think we are, I think it still goes along the lines of the Jamal Murray theory, where it's it's the perfect backdrop when there's nothing there, and I think that's what they benefited from. I know I keep bashing Bam. I think he actually is a very important player for the team, but Jimmy Butler's not here, which is a big concern for me. Goran Dragic has been in and out. I'm not I'm not as optimistic on Tyler Hero being your like second guy on this roster. He still reminds me. I mean, he comes with the baggage of just being like a white guy. Sadly, it shouldn't be that way, but like he's not a Luka Doncic white guy in my opinion. So Duncan Robinson is probably your third best scorer on this roster, and it just doesn't look good after that. I'm surprised Avery Bradley even went to Miami. I would have gone with the Lakers to at least win back-to-back rings at that point, and I think James Harden would have been perfect for the complementary with Bam Adebayo at this point. So yeah, I think they regret this.
John?
I'll obviously it's been pretty rough. Though I will say, like, I'm very impressed by the development that Bam has made in his game. He's gotten a little bit of himself, like some of that LaMarcus Aldridge mid-range game, which is actually huge for him. So he's become more of a threat to score in like other ways, which is great. I don't think they regret not getting Harden. I think that their guy is somewhere else, and we'll talk about him soon. So I think that Udonis Haslem had a quote that was like, if I had to be like Harden's OG, it would age me 15 years. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't think I think he's not a culture fit there as much as he's an incredible player. So I don't think they regret it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that one. I'll definitely sell on that. Heat get Oladipo at deadline, Kevin.
I like this take a lot. I think that's what John was kind of hinting at just now. I would love to see that happen, and I think we were talking about this kind of before the pod. I don't think Houston is Oladipo's home. I don't think it's exactly a perfect fit for him. So I think he's going to get kind of dished out somewhere else. And I think if that is Miami, I think that could be an awesome fit, actually. I think that they could use a kind of a little bit more of a vet than Huron Robinson in Oladipo. So I think that would be awesome to have another guy on there who can consistently score and also kind of play defense a little bit. I think he'd be a really good fit. I like this a lot. So yeah, buy in.
Sam?
I'm not too crazy about it. I could see it maybe working, but I'm not too crazy. I think he'd be better on like more of a support on a lot of teams, like for an example, like a Clipper or a Laker roster, which I know is very extreme at that point. But I just don't see him being as the guy anymore, and I don't really see him being as the second guy anymore. I think it sucks. I mean, I think he does put up stats that could put him in that tier, but I mean, he had a really bad injury, and it does really drop him down because his playstyle has changed a lot. And honestly, I kind of really liked him in that Pacers role because he was the third guy at that point, and I thought it was actually a good fit. There was probably just a contract thing. I did hear the Pacers offered him $25 million a year in an extension, and he said no. Thinks he has more value. That's fine, but I just thought he was a great fit in Pacers. I think that's just his kind of culture there, but I'm going to sell on that. I don't think he's good for Miami.
John?
I buy, obviously. This was what I was teasing. And, the Rockets are already resting him in games. He's not going to play back-to-backs for them. They want to keep him healthy. They want to showcase him when they can. I think absolutely they try to move him. And I think, Oladipo and Miami have been like rumored to like want to be, a thing together. I think he would be the third option on that team. I think that with a healthy Jimmy Butler and a Bam Adebayo and a Victor Oladipo core would look fairly similar to what you get in Indiana, but I think that like that has a slightly higher ceiling. I think we can all agree the Heat are probably not title contenders this year, sadly, but I still think they could be much better than they are. And I think this would actually help them a fair amount to get a good, reliable scorer, a decent enough defender still, even despite the injury. I like this one. I buy it, and I hope that I hope it's good for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that one, and I'll buy that as well. The last one, the one that breaks my heart the most, are the Celtics frauds like Danny Ainge? I will answer this first. Yes, they're frauds. I don't get it. I don't understand it. On paper, they should be much better, but Kemba, they run their offense through Kemba, and I think that's a complete mistake. I really do. As much as I love what Kemba did for that locker room, and I really do think last year he was a very necessary piece to that team. I'm done with him. I love Kemba. I love him as a player. I really, really do. But he is not right for this team when you have players like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who you absolutely need to run the offense for. Not to mention that I think Marcus Smart needs to stop making Marcus Smart shots. My God, dude, just stick to your defense, stick to your easy layups and paint scoring. Stop shooting ridiculous shots. You're not a shooter, my dude. I'm sorry. Yes, they're frauds. Kevin.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you hit the nail on the head, especially with the Kemba stuff. Like, I think they would do so much better if they were running their all of their plays basically through Brown and Tatum. I like those two a lot better than Kemba on that team. I think Kemba helped them get to where they are now, but I think now Kemba needs to kind of take a back seat to the other two, and that's not happening. And as long as that's not happening, I think they're going to struggle. And then, as every year, I feel like for the past 4 or 5 years, their bench is abysmal. It is very, 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 very boring and sad, and they don't do anything from the bench. And as long as that's happening, you're gonna struggle when the bench is out too. So,
yeah, Sam.
I think they got their just desserts for the Isaiah Thomas trade. In my opinion, got another broken point guard who they're probably going to trade somehow again, right? Anything different? I don't think so. But the only thing there's only 2 good things we keep saying is Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and that's been the same thing for the past 2-3 years, right? I mean, even Kyrie Irving's gone at that point, and I think that is a concern in terms of the culture you're trying to make in Boston. It's like, are we actually trying to build a team, or are we just going to try to boost and support these 2 guys' careers and hopefully that they can carry a team? And I think they're just still too young, and maybe it's a bad argument at that point, but it's Marcus Smart has been very disappointing this season, and I think it's not his fault. I think they're just misutilizing him completely. He's a true 6-man, not a starter. Like he really reminds me of more of a Manu Ginobili role, where he can actually boost this bench, who is actually, I don't think is that bad. I do really like Peyton Pritchard. I think he's a solid fit. He's injured, sadly, again. And I think the Tristan Thompson trade, the trade or the signing was actually did not pan out at all. And maybe they do something with that exception, but I think everyone's very aware of the exception and are not going to do anything stupid to help Boston, in my opinion. So the player that they actually needed was a Jarrett Allen, in my opinion. I think that would have been the actual supporting, not a glue piece, but the problems in the paint for them. So when you're notable for just being the Wizards, it's not really looking good for you guys. So yeah, it's not good.
John.
I mean, I feel like the Celtics could be up 3-1 in the finals, and I would call them a fraud. I just don't. I don't know what it is. I just can't believe in this team, no matter how good they play. Right now, as we're recording this, they're beating the Cavs by 20 points at the half, and they don't even have Tatum yet. I think that they're obviously a good team. They're just something about them just doesn't feel emphatic. It doesn't feel like a team that's that anyone should really be scared of. So I do think they're frauds. I don't believe in this team worth a damn. I love Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown has been awesome this year, and I still am I don't really think that they're. I don't. They'll probably have their nice little playoff run they get every year. Maybe not. I don't think they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, as they have been. I don't understand why. I feel like it should be. They're the 3rd ranked team in the East right now. I think. I don't know. They're frauds. Because something about it, I just don't believe in them at all.
Yeah, it kind of seems like there's going to be something that goes wrong with this team. They lost to the Pistons, and because of that, I'm out. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. This has been the Deep 3 Pod. You guys can find us on Instagram and on Twitter. You also can find us on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And have a great rest of your night. Peace.
Birds are not real, just like the Pelicans.